What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, I am going to be talking about how to deal with loneliness as a man. And the reason why I am making this video is because it's apparent to me that so many men in today's society struggle with purpose, and they struggle with loneliness. Even men that are surrounded by other people can often feel lonely. And even from the outside, when you see somebody and you think that they have their life put together from the outside, they might really be struggling internally. Now, loneliness is a part of the human condition. In the same way that I think men struggle with things like lust, and that they will continue to struggle with lust for the rest of their life, I also think that people will continue to struggle with loneliness. It's ultimately how we deal with loneliness that defines who we are, what type of people we are. And can we see it for truly what it is, or will we let it overtake us, cause us to do irrational things, cause us to become emotionally erratic, driven by our behaviors, by our wants, and by our desires? Now, at the heart of the loneliness problem, there is an emotional problem, because the truth is most men, just them feeling lonely isn't a problem in and of itself. You can feel lonely, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with feeling lonely. It's when the loneliness causes men to become emotionally erratic and emotionally charged and go out and do things that ultimately end up hurting other people and hurting themselves that it actually becomes a very apparent problem. I think that you can see with the mental health crisis that we have in society today, a lot of people hurt a lot of other people simply because they are lonely. And when emotions are elevated, it causes you to act a certain way. And when emotion is not controlled, it can be incredibly dangerous. But it's totally okay to be lonely in and of itself. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. And if you are lonely, what it's actually doing is it's pointing you towards your Creator. And it's pointing you towards your relationship with Christ and the God that created you. Now, in the same way that lust points us to our long-lost connection with God, and how our lust is a bent and twisted urge that comes out of a longing for the completion of that relationship through the community with our God, loneliness is also a symptom of that disconnection between God and man. Now, the first step towards curing loneliness is understanding the reality of your current situation. This is very, very powerful. You are not alone because you have the Creator of the world in your presence at all times. And prayer is soothing to the soul. It's a direct line of communication between you and God. I like to think of faith as a sixth sense. In the same way that it would be absolutely ridiculous for a human to live his life ignoring a specific sense, whether that be smell, taste, hearing, sight, or touch, it would also be ridiculous for a man to go through his life without faith, without trusting in something greater. Now, some people are going to say, oh, you're just using that as a crutch. You're using your religion as a crutch, go crying to Sky Daddy because you can't get through life because it's too hard. I've talked about the power of hope in many of my videos, and hope is crucial for human survival. We as humans are powered by hope, and without it, we ultimately die. Humans have been proven to time and time again live and persevere through some of the worst suffering you can possibly imagine. Torture, mutilation, starvation. Humans can survive it all when there is hope of survival. But what's been shown time and time and again is that if hope disappears, so does a person's life force. Now, they've done studies on rats where they found that the rats could only swim for 15 minutes before drowning in a pool. But if the rats were pulled out of the pool after the 15 minutes of swimming and they were dried off by a human and then let back into the pool, they were able to swim for 60 hours. This goes to show just how important hope is, because they were constantly relying on their hope that they were going to get pulled out of the pool, that they were going to get saved. And it gave them the ability to perform far above and beyond what they ever thought possible, what the scientists ever thought possible. And if you believe in the God of the Bible, you also believe that He can create hope even out of the most wretched and abominable action. The persecution, mutilation, and torture of an innocent man sentenced to die on the cross. He was tortured for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was placed on Him. And by His wounds we are healed. And if you believe in this God, you believe in a God that sent the angel of death to kill the firstborn in every Egyptian household. How terrible of a God He must be. How evil. No. He has power over the evil. He can use the worst to bring about the best. I've personally gone through times in my life when I thought that life wasn't worth living. And I thought that loneliness was my biggest problem. I would tell myself that if only I had that certain group of friends, if only I had a girlfriend who understood how I felt, I would feel content. Don't get me wrong. Community is a very important aspect, and surrounding yourself with a good group of men, finding a woman who has great values, it's absolutely beautiful. But it's not going to fill the God-shaped hole in your heart. I have been in relationship after relationship and constantly been slapped in the face with the reminder that the person that I was with was not going to solve all of my problems. No matter how much I wanted them to, no matter how much they wanted to solve my problems, they weren't going to cure all my issues, and they weren't going to even take away my loneliness, because that's impossible. Some of the most lonely people are men in relationships. Go pursue those relationships. Go pursue community with good people. But don't do it because you're emotional and because you're scared of being by yourself. You alone have a journey ahead of you. And I don't know what that purpose is. And if you don't know either, then you probably still have a lot of digging to do. What better of a thing to do while you're by yourself, when you are bored, rather than distracting yourself with scrolling, with the next video, with watching Netflix, things that are not filling you up with virtue. What I realized is that the greatest cure to loneliness as a man is becoming comfortable, just being by yourself. In order to do this, you have to really like who you are as a person. You should feel confident when you look in the mirror. When you walk into a room, you should do it with your chest up and your shoulders back. You should genuinely enjoy the person that you are becoming, because through the trials and the tribulations and the devotion to mastery, through sacrifice and through perseverance, you will find your purpose that you can pursue in the presence of your Creator. He will know all of the work that you put in behind the scenes, trying to accomplish your goal and pursue this purpose. Stabilize yourself with His company. And remember that you do everything not for yourself, but to honor Him who made you. Him whose presence it is that you actually crave. Him whose presence your loneliness points you towards. Not the hot girl, not all of the popular social people that you want to be around, not the status and not the attention. What I want for every single one of the men watching my channel is to understand what I am saying and be able to look at the suffering that you endure on a daily basis as refining you in the fire. As a man, I want you to be confident in yourself and by yourself. I want you to be confident in front of thousands of people. I want you to remember that it is by God's grace that you are allowed to live and breathe. Gratitude is the foundational element that allows you to have power over your emotions and reminds you that even if you do feel bad sometimes, don't compromise your values. Don't compromise yourself and don't compromise others in order to feel better. You are blessed. Every second is a blessing. Every day is a gift. And the more that you can come around to seeing life through this lens, the more beautiful life becomes. I hope this video really helped a lot of you guys out. Make sure to drop a like down below. Drop a singular thumbs up in the comment section if you watched all the way through this video till the end. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.